Welcome to Talk Birdie This is Australia's most popular golf podcast, with former world number 16 Nick O'Hearn, the only player to beat Tiger Woods twice in match play, and tour pro Mark Allen, who played professional golf around the world for 15 years, including a British Open. We're coming from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters. Titleist is the #1 ball in golf, and FootJoy is the #1 shoe and glove in golf. And thanks to our great partners, Watch My Numbers, the most powerful database golf app in the world. Download from the App Store or Google Play. Ping, as with Nick O'Hearn, will help you play your best. See your local golf shop or professional for a Ping Club fitting. The Golf Clearance Outlet beat everyone's prices. Visit golfclearanceoutlet.com.au for your nearest store. And Better, the fastest and easiest betting app in Australia. Now that's better. Now, from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters, it's time for Talk Birdie to Me. Here's Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen.
G'day everybody, Mark Allen, welcome to Talk Birdie to Me, and we're doing some feedback. Nick, so hang on to your hat.
Love it.
Well, we've got plenty of feedback to get through, and I will say there's a little bit of a whack on the way for a couple
of that happens, don't you?
Couple of young men on this podcast.
He gets all giddy.
That's great.
He does get giddy.
It's fun. Well, I get one too occasionally.
Really?
Which, I
haven't heard one.
Very occasionally.
They tend not to get aware.
I wonder why that is.
We're going to start with a photo, Nick, that I saw you post up on your socials this week, and I thought it was a beautiful photo, and I would love you to talk us through it and explain the background and the context of this photo.
Okay. Oh, this one, yeah, of Wilbur.
What hole's that on?
So when he sent, the Masters came on and Wilbur texted me, was chatting about, who do you think's got a chance, etc. And then he also sent this picture and he says, thanks for the memories, which was awesome. I said, do you mind if I post it?
So he's in the overalls, so he's at Augusta somewhere.
It's at Augusta, and it's actually to the side. He's at the range.
And the driving range.
Of the old range. Now, the old range was just like a typical driving range, but it was a foggy morning. I have a feeling this was 2006 because we had some delays, so we had to go back out early. And it was just one of those moments in time. And he said, in the message he sent to me, he said, this actually made Golf Illustrated on page 3 a little bit after the Masters. So it became quite an iconic photo over there. It's pretty cool.
That's the nice thing that your caddy did for you. One of my old caddies got in touch with me during the week and wasn't happy about our criticism
Oh, really?
of Mr. Diamond.
Okay.
He sent me this. As a former occasional caddy whose career earnings were $647.75, thanks to his man's at times mediocre driving skills.
Oh,
wow. There's a whack.
Anyway, he said, I got to fly the caddy flag.
How many messages did it go on for?
There was quite a few.
Oh, look at that.
10 pages of
Holy
messages.
moly.
The guy's name was Tim Chegwin, and he was he was probably my first ever caddy, my first ever full-time caddy. And think about this. All right, I'll give you a story. He was the smartest kid at Haileybury College, which is a big college. He was the Dux of the school. And he was 2 years in to opening cadavers up.
Oh,
right, so he's a superstar. Anyway, he left all that to come and caddy for me.
So he went from one corpse to another.
Anyway, I've only got beautiful memories of Tim Chegwin. I'll tell you one story of Tim Chegwin. It was very expensive when I started flying. Anyway, so we decided in our wisdom, our next qualifying was in Noosa. So we drove 20 hours straight to get to Noosa. What do you reckon we did when we got there finally? We put our best clothes on and went out to have a drink, right? So anyway, on that trip, I'm going too fast, 140 clicks. It's night time, and there's a guy in front who's so slow. So I peel out, and as I peel out, I'm coming back to my side of the lane. A truck appears over the hill in our lane all of a sudden.
You weren't.
So I have swerved onto the stones, and there's a big dip there, and somehow the car didn't lose control.
Wow.
The truck was overtaking someone coming the other way. How Tim Chegwin and I are still alive, it's a miracle, and he reminded me of it in that.
It sounds as though you're both overtaking with a rise or a hill.
Oh,
nearby,
how we're still here,
Scary.
I will never,
That is
ever
scary.
know.
And we've all had something like that. It's pretty scary.
My man's at times mediocre driving skills, but owes his life to this man on the one-time superhuman driving skills. That's what he's talking about
okay,
there.
right. Very good.
Anyway.
Okay.
Mark,
Memories.
is Tim Chegwin the guy who you once at a nightclub introduced as your caddy and
Yes.
he lined you up and had a red hot crack at you?
We had a fight.
Had a
outside
massive
the
fight
nightclub.
over it?
Yeah,
Wow.
we had a fight outside the nightclub. That's how stupid I was.
Because you said, this is my caddy.
I was introducing him as my caddy instead of my friend Tim, which he was.
It's a
and
slight
still
wanker
is.
move though, isn't it, really?
Yes, it was a wanker move.
Yeah.
And thankfully I've grown up.
Okay. Some feedback now.
Have you now?
I reckon I have. I think I have.
All right, some feedback now. We had a lot of comments on the member guest fee conversation from last week.
Oh, yeah.
Vince, I reckon Australia's got the cheapest golf fees in the world. It's pretty right, actually.
Oh,
Could be.
Be close.
Subs for the quality of golf course versus how much we're actually paying in Australian pesos.
Yeah.
Without doubt, I think we've got the cheapest golf in the world.
23 rounder. I think in many cases fees are too low. My club is 65, including comp fees at present. 6 months ago, it was 50. For clubs that allow true visitors, I reckon they need to ensure there is a decent increase in visitor fees compared to a guest. Otherwise, why would you bother being a member?
Yep. Yes. And look, keeping people off the golf course adds to the experience when you're on the golf course.
True.
Not only for the golf course's wear and tear, but also the enjoyment of the round. You know, we all want to play in well and truly under 4.5 hours.
Yep.
So unfortunately, a lot of golf clubs, because they are so good, need to take steps to keep people off the course.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the time if the guests know what the green fee is, well, then they have the option to not play there if it's too much.
Correct.
However, if you are hosting 3 people and they don't know and you're paying for it, well, then it gets
And lunch.
expensive, as you say.
And lunch. Anyway.
Oh, dear.
Message from Martin here. Member guest at Coringal in Melbourne's western suburbs just increased to $85 plus $12 for competition fee. Double what it was 8 years ago. Bit of the sign of the times. We get a lot of traffic from our members, and the course has markedly improved over the last 4 years.
Well, they had to pay for the Richard Green statue somehow, and they're at Coringal. They're obviously just putting their green fees up.
I was out there a while ago doing a talk one night. I never got to play the golf course, unfortunately.
It's good.
But here it's really good.
It's a nice little golf course where it is. It's fantastic.
Great.
Okay, message from Roy here. I agree with you wholeheartedly regarding member guest green fees. Like you, Marco, when I take someone, I pay for the guest. It's ridiculous to suggest the amount equates to a world-class experience. And do not get me started on nomination dollars. Ridiculous amounts being asked. Love the pod, Roy.
Well, I think the nomination, is they talking about guest fees or are they talking about the entrance fee?
Probably
The club.
entrance fee.
Entrance,
the
I
club,
reckon,
yeah.
The-
Well,
the
the-
nominations.
The courses that charge an arm and a leg are the courses that can charge an arm and a
Well, they've
leg.
probably got waiting lists. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we have another one here from Thumbelina. I live in country Victoria and my local course, Sandscrapes, has no guest fees. It's just the green fees of $10 and competition fees if there's a comp. We make our money over the bar with our memberships only just covering costs and we still struggle to get anyone to play. I don't quite know whereabouts in Victoria that is. Obviously somewhere small, I would have thought.
Yeah, well, I've got a coffee
Remote.
table golf book at home, and it's about golf courses in Western Victoria,
Right.
where there are honesty boxes on the first tee.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that book?
I haven't, but I
Yeah.
know of clubs
Yeah.
like that where they have the honesty box.
Yeah,
It's a
and-
great system.
It's a great system,
Yeah.
and these golf clubs not only are half decent, but they thrive. They're going okay.
Strap yourself in.
Oh,
Here we go.
okay. Hang
This
on.
is a,
Here we
this is
go.
a, this is a short one, but it's a very funny one.
Righto.
Okay.
And I thought it was worth reading out. Dougie, Colin Montgomery has more class than both of you put together.
Yeah, okay.
What, hey?
I'm not sure about that, Dougie.
Now, I'm going to add a bit of context to this one too. This message came through at midnight Australian time. Now, I had a quick look. That is somewhere in the middle of the day
Yeah.
in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm tipping Dougie might live in the UK.
Maybe. It might
Okay.
be Scottish.
He might be Scottish, I think. So, yeah,
Unless
that's
he's
what
been
I-
drinking here in Australia.
Well, there is true.
Or his
And-
name's Dougie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, Dougie.
Oh, by the way, I played with a friend of yours from way back. His nickname was Dougie.
Who?
Nathan Housen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, at Metropolitan Golf
Right.
Club a couple of weeks ago.
How's he
And
going?
He's playing well.
Is he?
He was like 3 under through 7, kicking my butt. So
Jeepers.
it was a lot of fun. But anyway, he sends his shout out, and I asked him about the Huntingdale 7, and he says, "Oh no, you don't want to talk about
No,
that."
you can't talk about the Huntingdale
But he
7.
said, "Say good day to Mark because we used to live on the golf course together." I think
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. A long time ago. How was Metro?
It was-
If you don't know, they've just done the whole course.
Yeah, the back 9, the front 9's newer now. The back 9 they've just done some changes. Who was it that done it? It was Crafter Mogford.
Yes.
Looks really nice. So the 12th and the 13th. 13th's not in play yet, the par 3, which caused a bit of controversy.
What about 16?
Fantastic.
The short par 4.
16's great.
Yeah,
They've taken all the trees out on the right, looks great. 17, they've still got the trees, which, I thought maybe they could have taken those out, but hey.
And it takes about 2 years for the heathland areas to grow in properly.
Yeah.
And members at Metro, be patient. Don't do the short-term stuff where you plan away and it looks terrible. Let the natural heathland come back and you'll be very, very happy.
Yeah, but good shout out to my friend Hamish Richardson for the invite out there to play because the course is really coming along and hopefully it gets back to where it belongs in that top 5 in Australia.
Hamish shout you?
He did shout
Did
me.
he shout you lunch as
well? No, he did stay for lunch, but the green fees, it was very kind of him, yeah. So
Okay.
I have to reciprocate.
You do. And lunch.
Now, there's been a fair bit of talk earlier on this pod and on the other pod earlier in the week on caddies.
Yes.
Message from Eddie Munster.
Not the Eddie Munster.
Really enjoying the pods for the commute to and from work, boys. I spent 10 years caddying on the tour, and I can't recall...
Oh, the Munster. Remember the Munster used to caddy?
Munster. Yeah, that name rings a bell.
Yeah,
Okay.
Munster. That's probably where it's from.
Yeah.
Righto.
All right.
And I can't recall any of the sort of gamesmanship that Monty put on with you, Mark. Maybe Ray Floyd was the closest. But I was always impressed with Mark, you being able to play with the top button on your shirt done up, even after 18 holes at the Vines in a ridiculous Perth heat. You didn't even lose the crease in your trousers. Keep up the good work, Munster.
It was very always important for someone shooting 74s and 75s to keep up appearances, Nick.
And you came straight from the nightclub too, so that was the look back then.
No, it wasn't. But yeah, if you weren't shooting 60s, you had to impress in other ways.
Yeah. Now, we've got a video that's been sent in of somebody's swing with some comments that have been requested from you guys. So we might go to the turn and come back and play you a video, and I think you'll find this one interesting.
I've also got some feedback for FootJoy.
Right.
Stay tuned.
Okay.
We're live from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters. We all know the number one ball in golf is Titleist and the number one shoe and glove in golf is FootJoy. We're here thanks to the Golf Clearance Outlet. They beat everyone's prices. Ping will always help you play your best. Turn your bogeys into birdies with the Watch My Numbers app, and Better, the fastest and easiest betting app in Australia. That's better. Now, back to Talk Birdie-Tome. Here's Nick and Mark.
Okay, you're not allowed to say the back 9 at Augusta, and I think I'm going to start saying the second 9
Second
here
9. And patrons.
And patrons?
And attached earth balls rather than
mud balls?
Mud balls.
Yeah, okay. I think we will. So welcome to the second 9. I've got some feedback for FootJoy.
First of all, the podcast we did the other for the Masters, I'd never made the point of why I think it's the greatest tournament in the world.
Go on.
Sporting event in the world.
Yeah.
No one on course has a phone.
Yeah.
So everyone is completely present.
Yep.
Like you watch the pictures of Rory holding the putts and they're all like this. They're all looking at at Rory and that. They're not holding up something and blocking
trying to get a good shot of something.
everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like concerts you go to or whatever, or sporting events.
Yeah.
Because you can't do it or have your phone with you, it is brilliant. And then the other thing is the scoreboard.
Oh, I was just going to say it.
The scoreboards, when they change the numbers of... He just made double on 13. Whoa! And this huge roar away if he makes a birdie. The roars back and forth. I forgot to mention in the pod the other day, but it was brilliant.
Unless you go to Augusta, you don't understand people cheering the scoreboard. It seems ridiculous because all the other tour events, they've got
especially
big TV screens everywhere. And you kind of know what's going on. You know what happened back at 16 because they show it. But not at Augusta. You're reliant on these scoreboards, these big ones, and they're not electronic, and it's
going
just,
back in time.
It's just fabulous.
And someone said, "Are they ever going to digitise the Augusta scoreboard?" And I think they said, "No, we'll do it when the big green monster or the wall at Fenway does it or something."
Yeah,
and that's never going to happen.
They'll
at
never do
Fenway,
it.
so,
They'll never do it.
So what's your feedback for FootJoy? What's going on?
Well, we're very privileged at talkbirdietome to be working out of the Titleist FootJoy headquarters. And last week, Tim Snow was hereabouts, and I was talking about the new premiers that looked magnificent.
Oh, you got a pair.
Dude.
Yeah.
Check these out.
Wow.
My God.
Fabulous.
The new Premier from FootJoy with the orange sole that's kind of looking like a bit of a leather sole. I'll never take them off my feet.
I'm still waiting for my pair.
Yeah,
so.
I wonder what happened there with your order. Something must have
It's
gone
probably
wrong.
coming. Who knows? So.
It was a good FootJoy bonus pod last week too. We had a couple of comments on that. Ivan has said, I bought myself a pair of FootJoys a couple of years ago. No word of a lie. It took 5 shots off my game. Yes, I am a hack. Just being comfortable and not even thinking about my feet during a round has been a revelation. And Damien, there's no better shoe. My premiers are like putting on dress shoes. As you slide your foot in, you can hear the air come out just like a proper fitting shoe.
I love it.
They are the best shoe at golf.
They are.
Yeah. Okay, a question, boys. This one comes from Andrew. He's got 2 questions, actually. Hello, guys. I've got 2 questions for you. The first one is, what grind is the tour-only issue Vokey wedge that you were fitted into, Nick?
What grind? It's called the, what do you call it again? I think
Something
it's
with a T on it,
cake,
isn't it?
The cake. Let me have a look.
Have you got
Might
it?
be the cake.
Is it there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Check it out.
Well, while you do that, Mark, I might ask you.
I use the S Vokey. So the S grind 60 is the best for sandbelt bunkers, but that changes. I've actually got a K grind as well that I use if I go overseas to America or if I'm playing somewhere in the state and the bunkers aren't as packed as the sandbelt bunkers are. So
No,
they're all different grinds and they all achieve something.
Yeah, this one's an older one. The one I got the other day was the new Scotty Scheffler one, just the Tour Pro.
Ooh, okay, cool. Would you want to
Special.
report back on the one next week, maybe, Nick?
Why are you so special? Why are you that special?
Says the bloke with a brand new pair of shoes on that
that's very true.
he's hoofed from Tim
that's
Snow.
true.
This is an old Vokey, so I don't know what grind that
What
is.
grind is that? Oh, that's just I think that's almost the K grind that you get today. But
Is
you
it?
ground that back there.
Yeah, back in the heel.
And what that means, folks, and you can see this on the screen, when you open it up, because this part of the sole's grind, then this doesn't stick up nearly as much and you won't hit that rotten drop kick.
This is an old one, though, so it's been around a while.
How much money
One
did
of
that
the
thing
favourite.
win? Millions and millions, did it, that one?
Probably a couple of dollars. Who knows?
Yeah, look at him.
Maybe more than $647.
Yeah.
That was the caddy earnings.
So, second question from Andrew. I know both your stances on hole-in-ones, comp only to make it count, except for Wagga, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, Wagga doesn't. Wagga is included.
Yes.
But would you include a boys' trip away in this criteria? As I think it would be great fun to do it in front of your mates to rub it in. Cheers, Andrew. So, do hole-in-ones count on a boys' trip?
Do hole-in-ones count on the
On a
boys' trip? Of course they do.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, if you write a 1 down.
What if it's not a competition though? It's just not a competition. It's just mucking around.
Well, if you're keeping score, if you're writing your score down and you have a 1, that's a hole-in-one. If you're just having a practice round and you're hitting balls all over the place,
Yeah, pro-ams that I've played where
Yeah.
before a tournament, then no.
they don't count.
No.
You're just messing around.
Yep. Okay.
But if you're playing match play or if you're keeping score,
And it's,
Done.
if
It's a
to
1.
win all the shekels, then
Yeah, it's a
absolutely.
1.
Okay. Before we get to the video that we'll play, this is from John. John has said, "G'day guys. A couple of things. What would be the expected life of a driver and irons? When would you suggest I upgrade?" And well, actually, we'll do that question first, and because you get a second one.
I know. Driver, you just keep on pumping that driver until it is dead, really.
Until it doesn't cooperate.
Until it stops cooperating. That's right. I do feel like every time you get a new driver that the pop is spectacular in the first couple of weeks and then it may well plateau back slightly. And then when, of course, you get the new upgrade, you feel like it goes an extra 10 yards and then that one will plateau. Now, that's unchecked.
Yeah.
I don't know that for sure. That's my gut feel.
I think so just trying something new, you get an extra mile or two club head speed.
You get razzed.
You get a little.
Yeah, you do.
You get a little vibed.
Yeah, you do.
Second question from John. Have either of you had the opportunity to play Ocean Shores Golf Course in the Northern Rivers?
No.
And if so, I'd love your opinion. It's worth a look. Cheers.
Ocean Shores. No, never played it.
Okay.
Never.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
All right.
does sound good. All right.
Can we look it up?
Yeah, we'll
Sounds like this.
We might look it up.
we'll whack a photo on the screen in a sec.
All right.
Okay, to a video. Now, this is from Martin Millen from Coringal, where, as he says, where Richard Green started. Love the podcast, guys. I subscribed 1 month ago. Thank you, Martin. Regarding Minwoo's putt on the last in Texas, I've got a video here of my mate Steve Ogilvie. Now, recently Steve shot an 85 with about 50 putts. And this video may explain why. Yes, it's a bit extreme. However, he did use this same method to win a Medal of Medals off 18 at Coringal
Wow.
a couple of years ago.
Only the best win the Medal of Medals.
Is that part of the Grand Slam?
Grand
for
Slam of club golf.
Club golf.
In this particular case, on the 8th, he sank a 20-metre putt for birdie,
Wow.
which is pretty impressive.
All right.
So, would you like to see this video?
Yeah, I do
Love
want to
to.
see the video.
Love to.
All right.
Nice. Looks like a beautiful hole.
Well, I like him teeing up with his backside pointing opposite to where he was going. That's a
Hang
start.
on.
But then he walks straight up to
Hang
it.
on. He's got a putter out.
He's got a putter
He's got
out.
a putter.
Oh, the 4-degree wedge has gone well
So he's hit
here.
putter, and then he hold the next one, Dan said.
Yeah,
He's on the
20-metre
dance
putt.
floor.
So
Wow.
a two-putt birdie on a par three. That's very rare.
I don't know. I'm not sure what Martin is asking here. I suspect Martin's just showing off, to be honest.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't-
just,
Okay.
I
he's
don't
just
know.
been a smartass. Hey, that reminded me, Dan, we sent you a couple of looks at Rory McIlroy's putting stroke
Oh, we did.
that we didn't have a look at in our Masters wrap-up.
That's true.
So why don't we take the opportunity to have
We
a bit of a
should.
look at that?
Correct.
Because you and I both heard Brad Faxon speaking about
Yep.
the things that he's been teaching Rory McIlroy, and my ears pricked up. I know your ears pricked up about the forearms. You can go there in a tick. But just the simple stuff. Hitting the middle of the ball with the middle of the putter
Yep.
is one of the things that he has been working on. And now this putt, so now this is Rory McIlroy putting on the 17th at Augusta. Can you see how high he hits the ball with his putter there? It looks like he hits
he's-
the ball with the bottom edge of his putter.
Putter face is hitting almost the top of the ball type. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange, isn't it? How much it moves up.
Well, when your putter comes up like that, you either have to come up,
Or your left shoulder's
or
coming up
the left
quickly.
shoulder comes up, or your arms are coming up, but you don't turn yourself into a perfect pendulum. And then I went back and found the next one. Now, this is the putt that he missed at the US Open in 2024.
Yeah.
Now, this vision is incredible. He compared to that putt that he holed at 17. Did you see how high that went through?
You'd love to pause that at impact and see.
Can you pause that at
where-
impact, Dan?
Can
I
you
know
do
it's a
that?
bit of it. So,
Because that was fascinating. I remember seeing that going, wow, he's almost topped it.
yeah, here we go. Look,
Hang on,
yeah,
just go back a
the
couple
tiny
of
little bit.
frames.
That's perfect.
Wow.
Now, for those who are listening in the car or at home, I reckon the bottom edge is hitting just underneath the equator of the ball.
Yeah, because we can't quite tell from this angle, but I think the bottom edge is almost hitting halfway up the ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's hitting the top half rather than the middle of the ball.
Yeah.
Flush.
Yeah, that's right. It's funny, I always remember Greg Norman talking
that's
about watching Jordan Spieth putt. And Greg Norman's thoughts after looking at Jordan Spieth putt was he couldn't believe how low the putter stayed at impact.
Yeah.
He thought that was impressive. And that's almost a feeling of hitting down on the golf ball, which, you know, if you listen to old school play, the people are trying to put topspin on the
Topspin,
ball.
yeah.
But when you're hitting down on the ball, that feeling, it's very easy to keep your head down, believe it or not. When you're hitting up on the ball, it's very easy to look up.
Yeah.
And I've seen tests of people hitting down on the ball, the feeling of it, but they're not actually, because it starts to, they're actually making contact in the right spot. And the ball spin, believe it or not, helps the feeling of hitting down, it ends up helping the ball spin less,
Yeah.
which is amazing to
It is
think. It's a
interesting, yeah.
different feel.
Yeah, you almost want to get the feeling of keeping the putter head as low as possible through the ball, through
Yeah.
the follow through.
Yeah.
Keep that putter lower. And Rory, you'll notice his left shoulder does come up a
Up.
little early on a lot of them, and he gives it a bit of a. I know you can see him trying to keep his head down, but then he's.
Yep.
But there's like a funny, like if I've watched the top half of when he putts a lot of the time, just to see, okay, what's his head, what's his body doing, and it's as though there's a disjointedness about it rather than just a smooth follow. If you know what I mean.
When he does it, when he putts, sometimes, especially on the left or righters, his head goes this way.
Yeah.
And I think that is a direct result of what Faxon is talking about in the two examples we've just shown. So try, folks, just experiment and try the feeling of trying to hit down on the putt if you've got this issue in your game, because it does help you keep your heads down and still and all the great things that happen when you putt well.
Yeah, and the other tendency I think Faxon was talking about is his right arm, his right forearm gets kind of high, which means his right side is a little high and then he takes it outside and then you've either got to go the other way, which can happen maybe
adjust
on
with
those
your
putts,
hands.
or if he releases it as he normally does, he's going to hit everything left. Now, if you watch the last few holes at Augusta, the Eagle, after the greatest shot ever, he may have hit one of the worst putts ever on 15.
Missed by a cup.
Because that missed by a cup from 6 feet. I mean, nowhere close. The putt he had on 18 for the win didn't even touch the cup. It was 5 feet.
Yep.
And then I was, again, watching in the first playoff hole and it went in, put it that way. I think it was left centre, didn't break much, so it did the job.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, you talk about talent. We're picking his game apart.
It's crazy.
It's Rory McIlroy. We're picking his game apart.
Yeah.
He's just won the Masters to complete the career Grand Slam.
What else are we going to talk about?
No, well, I think it's right, though. This is the amazing thing. I think what we're talking about is right and correct and true in golf. And it just shows you, I reckon he's got another level to get to. If Faxon can get him going
I
with
was
the
about
putts.
to say, the scary thing is if he could change a couple of little things, whether it's the looks, the putts, the whatever, the caddy, it could be
You're gonna make
utter
headlines
and
again.
complete domination.
Nick O'Hearn, these are headlines really. Nick O'Hearn doubles down on Talk Birdie to Me podcast. It's going to be everywhere, mate.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You're going to get a phone call from Rory in a tick.
I think
He'll
that's
track
enough,
you down.
That's enough feedback for today. We've got lots and lots and lots. But I do want to read one final thing out. Now, this actually came in about 4 months ago.
Yep.
And you know how we get lots and lots of feedback, and we sometimes we don't get to them all. I found this one when I was going through some old notes, and it was so good that I thought, you know what? I want to read it out, even though it's 4 months old. And this is from Greg. Hey, guys. Barry Jones, a member at Lake Karrinyup Country Club, shot 72 at age 82, playing off a handicap of 5.
Oh
Unbelievable.
Gosh.
So good, I had to go back to it and read it.
82 off of... He's 82 years old and he plays off 5?
And shot 72. It
And
means,
shot
he's
72.
shooting it means he's shooting his age most of the time.
I think Gary Player has got a competitor as to shooting the most rounds under their age ever.
Just on that.
But at Augusta, you know what he goes around telling people, all that stuff. Yeah, okay.
By the way, they had ShotLink on the 3 players who opened the Masters.
Oh, yeah. What was it like? I didn't see it.
No. Well, they didn't. On our broadcast, they didn't show it.
Okay. Because I didn't see where they hit it.
On the America's broadcast, they showed it, but on our broadcast, they did not show it. And I don't know why that is.
I didn't think they would do that because of Jack.
But
anyway.
when I watched it on YouTube, and there's a thing in there just shows the starters, Gary Player at 89 hit the ball 265 yards off the first tee. Yes. That's 240 metres, folks. He's 89.
They might have jacked up the numbers like I had to
like
like
you did.
the other day. Hey, how far did Tom Watson hit it? Because his swing looked pure still.
Yeah. So, by the way,
okay.
Tom hit it well.
Yeah.
I didn't see. They didn't say how far he hit it.
Okay,
Yeah, they just hit it. But I was told once when Peter Thompson used to travel around Australia doing exhibitions, there was always a master of ceremonies who would speak to the crowd. And Tomo used to say, if I'm hitting a 6-iron, make sure you tell people I'm hitting a 7-iron.
I love it. Yeah.
Now, that's unchecked. Hello, 3W Breakfast.
It's very funny, though.
But that's interesting, isn't it?
Well, you know.
That's exactly what you did the other day. Hitting the world's greatest shot, showing people how to do it.
I reckon that's a wrap on the feedback pod today, boys. And if you're watching on YouTube or listening wherever you listen to your pods, we'd love you to share it with a friend and make sure you subscribe so you don't ever miss one. That would be helpful too.
Good on you, Dan. Thanks to everybody, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks, guys.
And that's been Talk Birdie to Me, Australia's most popular golf podcast, with Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen, coming from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters. As everyone knows, Titleist is the #1 ball in golf, and FootJoy, the #1 shoe and glove in golf. Wherever you get your podcasts, make sure to subscribe, maybe leave a review, and we'd love you to share the pod with a friend who loves their golf. Huge thanks to our fantastic partners. Ping, like they do for Nick O'Hearn, will help you play your best. You can see your local golf shop or professional for a Ping club fitting. The Golf Clearance Outlet always beat everyone's prices. Visit golfclearanceoutlet.com.au for your nearest store. Watch My Numbers is the most powerful data-based golf app in the world. You can download from the App Store or Google Play. And better, they've got the fastest and easiest betting app in Australia. Download from the App Stores today. Now that's better. Keep in mind, what are you really gambling with? But for now, from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters, thanks for being a part of the show. We'll see you next time.